What's up, guys? I'm Doofus Mcdooface, and today we're continuing the Legion TD2 units tier list. Today we're looking at tier 2s, pretty important unit, tier 2, you know. Sometimes you can get away without having a tier 1 if you have a cheap enough tier 2 unit. So, we're just going to go down the line. We have Angler right here. Angler generates stacks, make it into a bounty hunter, make it into a kingpin. I think a lot of the higher elo are going to have this way higher than me. And let me just firstly say, these are just my personal thoughts. Maybe you have it way higher. I'm not a huge fan of anglers. Like, yeah, they can be amazing with steeds, right? Of course they can be amazing with steeds. Once you get that power spike, yes, it is fantastic. But being someone that leaks overvalue all the time, I've been known to leak with bounty hunters 100 over. I've been known to leak with kingpin 300 over. So although the power spike is amazing, and with a steed, or if you're covering Fiesta, can be really great. I'm more of the I play Fiesta, you cover me with angler, as opposed to the I play angler and then like I cover. So like I'm not a really big bounty hunter. I mean, let's just get right into stats, right? I don't believe that my angler is probably anywhere near my top, right? I wish I bounty hunter is 50%, 42% win rate, right? Angler is 43% when I start, 44 overall. So that sort of is already going to tell you where I'm going to put this. But if I take out my bias, I'll still put it at A, right? Because there have been Nova Cup matches where I say, okay, let me play Chaos, let me play Overbuild Angler, and I really have done great work with it. For me, this would be like my bottom A, right? Like it's really close to a B, but I'll still put it at A. I see a lot of people do great stuff with it. I'm not a huge fan, but some games I can do good stuff with it. It's just you have to know, like, do you push workers and wait to get the kingpin till late? Do you place too many anglers? Right, I've been known to do that. I'll have steeds and anglers, very rare, very rare. And what I'll do is instead of just saving the gold for a bounty hunter, I get a second angler. Terrible idea. Get that kingpin as soon as possible. Takes a lot of skill to use anglers, and I'm not somebody that has that type of skill. But I won't lie, it is still a very powerful unit. I want to put it in B. You know, I'm going to put it in B for right now, and then maybe we'll put it back in A if my bias goes away. But yeah, solid unit. You're thinking about late game, you're thinking about your push later on. I like pushing workers instantly. Aqua. I mean, Aqua has to be in the S to A tier, right? Like, there's just no world where it's not. I wish I could put it right in between. Like, for right now, I'm going to put Aqua in S tier. Aquas, you got Rogue Wave for the ability damage, or you got Fire Elemental for just pure damage. I love it, right? And what I've really liked doing it is, like, Fire Elemental Champion, right? Fire Elemental Champion, Fire Elemental Cartel, Fire Elemental Cash Out. I love starting a Fire Elemental. I have no issues with it. If I'm not playing Fiesta, all you have to do is cover your Wave 5. Honestly, even Wave 6, it's pretty decent with an equal split and some help on the left side. And Rogue Wave can, of course, be used later on. Only have one or two of them is my preference. I usually will, with Aquas, what I'll do is I'll start Fire Elemental, and I go Rogue Wave at some point in the mid game, and then I just re-roll out of them. I think I only need two, as long as I've got like a Zeus, or a Starcaller, or a Zarya, anything that uses ability damage, right? And that's where the Rogue Wave comes in. Just so you guys know what I'm talking about, if you have no idea, Rogue Wave, amplifying ability damage taken by 20%, 10% against bosses. That's what the Rogue Wave does. But I love Aquas. They can even do work on 15. They're not the best pierce damage in the world because, of course, their ability is magic damage. But I still like them for those AoE waves. And I mean, if we look at stats, I've got to think they're decent. And then watch maybe Rogue Wave 57%, Fire Elemental 56%. And Fire Elemental is one of my very few green units. Oh wait, look, Sakura's right there. One of my S tier units. So yeah, I love Aquas. Not much to say. Great AoE unit. As long as you got a wave 5 cover, Pilgrim, Seraphim, anything taster for wave 5, you should be okay. Bazooka. You know what? I'm not sold on bazookas lately, man. I'm not sold on bazookas. I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B on bazookas. Yeah, you've got your Zeus open, but Zeus leaks wave 3 so often now. I don't think it used to. Like, Zeus Steed used to hold very fun, but seems like lately it kind of sucks. And it's an okay Fiesta, right? If you have 2 bazookas and one little cheap tier 1, you can have a pretty decent Fiesta. I really never start pyro. I'm only ever using pyro, honestly, like wave 12, wave 16. So I just don't get that much usage out of pyro. Actually, right here, pyro, I've used it in 23 games. Pretty good win rate, and I'm undefeated when I open it. But like, I'm just not in love with it, you know? I'm not in love with the unit. Zeus is 59% though, okay, damn. Almost makes me want to change it, but I'm not in love with it. Seems like it could use a buff, right? Maybe we buff it a little bit, you know? Like, it's a good unit. Of course, with Starcaller or Steeds, it's great, right? And that's why this is kind of a good spot for Angler and Bazooka. They both need mana to be good, right? Or Pyros if you have some type of an AoE build. Yeah, it can be good. But I don't know. I'm just not sold on Bazooka, right? Like, yes, I'm going to use it a lot. But like, when I see Bazooka without APS, without Steeds, without Starcaller, I'm really not sold. Or Magician, right? If the right thing is in the game, I'm sold. Aqua, I'm just sold when I see it. Like, I'm already thinking I'm adding that to my roll. Gargoyle. I mean, I'm gonna go A tier. I'm feeling really lovely right now. I think Gargoyle is probably gonna be my highest arcane unit of these guys. Arcane melee unit. Without spoiling anything. I used to like it more. Probably would have had an S tier back before they screwed up the unit and reduced the reduced the what is it? Reduces damage. Yeah, I can't even tell you exactly. The takes reduced damage. That's all it is, right? It just takes reduced damage. It used to be way more. Used to make Chieftain cheese, right? That's where you have a Lost Pilgrim buffing, like 20 of them buffing a big ass green devil, big ass gargoyle, and the reduced damage reduction would be insane. They nerfed it, and that's why I'm nerfing it down to the A tier. But still, like, this is one of those units you could probably get away with not having a T1. Like, it's 40 gold. Angler wouldn't really work because it steals mana and it's sort of useless. But this 40 gold arcane tank you could get away with. That could be your only arcane tank the whole game. And you're probably okay. If it's your magic damage, you've got a problem, right? But if it's just your arcane tank, you're chilling. Let's look at stats. I love my guard. I would be surprised if this doesn't have 100 games. I would be surprised if this is not a 100-game unit. Uh-oh. Jeez, this win rate is it that bad, or am I blind? I must be blind. Okay, we got Green Devil at 50%. Yep, 93 usages. Gargoyle at 53. Man, I am blind. 3 and 3 when I start. Those were for like crazy fiestas. 67% as an open. Yeah, 67% as an open. It's one of my higher ones actually. Yeah, right there with Oathbreaker, Sakura, Nightmare. Wow, I'll remember that for later. Sorry about that. Sorry it took so long. But I like Gargoyle. I like Green Devil. Perfectly fine open, right? Starting a Green Devil. You can do Fiesta with it. You can do Cartel with it. You can really do anything. You just really need some pierce damage for wave 4 if you're trying to open with it. Yeah, it's a solid unit. I think A is a really good spot. Used to be S, but because of the nerf, down to A. Still a great unit. Golden Buckler. I see a lot of people spamming these lately, right? I see a lot of people spamming these lately, and it makes me want to go A, but like in my heart of hearts, with my personal bias, I'm gonna go B, right? B for biased. Like, this can be your natural unit for the entire game, right? You just do this, some Royal Guards. This is a little aside. You know how Oathbreaker just got Final Form? Could we make Final Form Royal Guard? How crazy would that be? Somebody start that. I'm just looking at it. I know they're both divine, but I think it could be sweet. Yeah, like it's a solid tank, right? Like it does absolutely 0 damage, right? It is purely a tank unit, right? I actually, spoiler, I beat a high level player today who spammed Royal Guards, spammed Bucklers, had a bunch of Trinities, bunch of Rogue Waves, bunch of AoE damage, and the only like single target unit they had was Royal Guards. So do you know what happened on wave 18? Well, we won the game very easily, right? So although they're a great unit, great tank, the damage is just negligible, right? There's no damage, and I think that's what separates it from being like better than a tank, right? It's your base unit. Yeah, you're gonna use it in a lot of roles, but like it's never gonna be amazing, right? You're never gonna say, "Whoa, I got a golden buckler. I can't wait to make Royal Guards. Wow!" All right, where is our win rate here? Royal Guard 54%, so pretty decent. 40 games. Buckler, I gotta be blind. This is crazy. Whoa, 46%. Yeah, see? Like I'm not sold. I'm not sold. And of course I'm biased right there, but it's a good tank. And speaking of the bias, oh man, this is so tough. Let's put an S right now. You know I love my Harpies, right? Shout out to Elwan, right? The Harpy King. I love Harpies. I love Harpies. And I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here, right? A liar. You know how I said Bazooka, you need mana. Angler, you need mana. Harpy, you really don't have to have the mana synergy. Like, of course with Steeds, of course with Magician, of course APS makes it better. Or Star Color, but Star Color's kind of convoluted because then you have it at the back of the lane. I really think Harpies are just fine by themselves. And, me personally, I love Fiesta. This is probably my favorite unit. Of the ones on the board, if I'm going Fiesta, I'm not going double Golden Buckler. I might go 2 bazookas, but you have to have the cheap unit, right? Like if your cheap unit is a buzz, right? That's too much. Or a chain fist, you have to place it really weird. But if you just have a harpy and like an infiltrator or, please goodness, a devilfish, right? You have perfect fiesta start, right? And then you just spam harpies the rest of the game. And I just love my harpies. Of course, you need to know to put them at the back of the lane to generate as much mana as possible before they start attacking. Sky Queen, they're just juicy, right? And they do keep getting nerfed. Like the mana synergy, I believe, got nerfed. But with all that being said, I have no problem with them. I have no problem with keeping my Harpies as S tier, and I'll be proud about that one. And let's see if my win rate is comparative to what I just described. Harpy at 55%, okay. 59% when I open, so that's right there to tell you. That means I have a 59% when I'm Fiesta starting Harpy, because I'm only going to start a Harpy as Siesta with some other unit. And Sky Queen, 75% when I open it, 55 overall. Like, I like Harpies, right? And even though the win rate's not in the 60s, not like green, still love the unit. It's fun to play with, right? It's just more fun that way. I feel like it makes for more worker push, right? Like you can push 2 workers, add a Harpy. Push 2 workers, add a Harpy, right? And you really can get away with it. There's really not that many downsides other than like siege rams, right? You could probably use Harpies the whole game outside of siege rams, you know? Not bad. Howler. This is another one where I know high elo's gonna eat my ass on this one. All right, that came out wrong. No, high elo is not gonna be happy with me on this one. I really don't want to put howlers in A, man. They might even have howler in S tier, to be honest. But for me, all right, I'm gonna make a deal with you guys. I'm gonna put it in B tier, and then whenever we look at the statistics, I might change it to A tier. But for me, Howler, it's an average tank, right? It's actually really good. I like Howlers with Aquas. That's one of my favorites right now, because Howlers, they stack single target, right? So if we look at the exact wording of it, where are my eyes? Wolf pack. Each attack applies a stack of wolf prey for 3 seconds, stacking blah blah blah. It just deals bonus damage, right? So if you have a ton of howlers, you deal bonus damage. And then with the upgraded sunfang, same thing. So like a lot of the people say is you need like 12 howlers before you grab a sunfang or some silly business like that, right? Because they're stacking damage buff, right? They're stacking a damage buff. That's all they're doing. Howlers can be used pretty well with Fiesta. I know lately I've been doing 4 howlers, and luckily I get a snail. I leak like 1 or 2 creeps. It's amazing. So it can be good, right? It can be good. Sunfang, you really never want to start a Sunfang unless you're going for a top game because it's kind of trolly. But howlers are good. Sunfang is a marginal unit. Like it's an okay-ish tank. With some DPS, right? Because they still are pierce damage, and with the stacking ability, they can do some single target. But because I'm biased from my 1 unit challenge, and I got cooked with howlers, let's keep it at B and check the stats. Right? Yeah, look at this. Look at how low it is. I don't even see it so far. Clearly, I'm not using howlers correctly. Holy moly. 48%. Whoa. 25%. 3 and 9 when I open with it. That sort of... Nah, I won't drop it to C. I won't do that. I won't do that to you guys. I know you guys are probably loving your howlers. I won't drop it to C. But for me, it's an okay unit, right? It's a B unit. I'm not... Like, it's right next to Buckler, right? This one has a little more damage, less tankage. That one has more tankage. Oof. You know what? We're gonna make a switch here. We're audible. I just realized that if I've got Howler, if I've got Buckler here, if I've got Angler here, I'm moving Bazooka up. I'm sold. I sold myself. It's just not fair to have these units on the same level as Bazooka. Like, Zeus's might not be great, but the Bazooka itself is. And I keep seeing, like, my stats, right? 54%. Like, it's pretty solid. Zeus at 59. I made an audible. We're going A. I'm sorry, guys, but we do have to put that at A. Or, you're welcome if you agree with me. All right, we got Cat. Pierce Arcane Cat. Give it stacks. Feed your cat. Let's go B for the moment, but I'm open to switching it to A. Right? Nah, it's A. It's A. It's A. Cat has to be A. But just so you guys know, it's below Gargoyle for me. Right? Just so you guys know, it's below Gargoyle for me. It's an okay-ish Fiesta. I'm not really a fan of Fiesting with it. Honestly, how many games did you know? I'm gonna cheat right now. How many games? I don't feel like I have that many games with Cat, but I could be totally wrong. I could be totally 100% wrong here. Nico Mata, 49%, so it's just a base unit for me. 62% when I open with it, though. 62% with it when I open with it, and 60 games overall. All right, so it's okay, right? The stats aren't that beautiful, but like it's a solid arcane unit, right? And I think the most important thing and the biggest reason why I'm gonna tell you that I have Cat in the A, 7 and 8, right? Waves 7 and 8 are probably the most important waves of every game. Dude, I should do a tier list on waves. No. It just is, right? You always get mimicked or brooded or mold, right? Something crazy, or if you're really unlucky, ogred, right? If you have a full stack cat on 7, like already you're some level of comfortable. Like, yeah, mimic can shred you, right? Or triple brooder. But like you're not that bad off, right? Like if you go Sakura cat, you're pretty solid, right? You're pretty well defended. So for it being strong on a lot of the early waves, like if we really think about cats for a second, right? Let's say you're not Fiesta, you just open a cat. You're definitely fine 1 through 3. Honestly, you're pretty solid on 4 as well. 5, it's at least going to kill the boss, right? You're guaranteed to kill the boss with the cat. There's almost no world where as long as you have the boss go the correct way towards the cat, you're going to kill the boss. 6, 6 you can get cooked, right? 2 brutes on 6, or even a brute on 6 if you push too hard. You can get punished, but it's not that bad. And then 7 and 8, you're cooking. It's like its best waves. And then, yeah, it's terrible 9. And it's pretty much terrible the rest of the game. But if you start a cat, you've got 8 solid waves. Like, that's not that bad. Clearly, I need to improve my cat gameplay. But I still think it's a really solid unit. 270 gold. And then it feeds itself every kill. It's not bad, right? It's not a bad unit at all. Ranger. I think this is just the A tiers, right? Is anybody even going to be a C or D? Ranger. This is a great boss killer. You get that, and you know you're holding wave 10. Or you should hold wave 10, right? If you see Ranger in your roll, you should hold wave 10, right? Like Harpies, yeah, you still should hold wave 10. Howler, honestly, doesn't even guarantee you hold wave 10, right? Kingpin, now it does not guarantee you hold wave 10 anymore since it's more tanking unit when it's bigger than it is a damage unit. But Daphne? Oh, with 1 Daphne you should hold. With 2 Daphnes you're definitely holding, right? Once again, like a ram, just like with Harpy, is pretty much the only thing stopping you from holding. So you should be good at this point. You really only need 3 Daphnes, I believe, right? 3 Daphnes is what I aim for every game. Where's it at? Precision. Deals 15. Oh, wait, sorry, this one. Each attack amplifies all damage taken by 1, stacking up to 10 times. So I guess you could theoretically have 10 Daphnes, but that would just be absolute overkill. I'm of the thought, like a lot of other people, 3 Daphnes. Their range is super far, right? It's 700, correct? Yeah, 700 range on Daphs. Yeah, right there. It's a solid unit, right? Like another A unit. It's a good unit. Not too many weak waves. I, of course, love this with Poda, right? Poda Ranger can be solid. You could do Ranger with Flower. It's got a lot of interchangeable builds. Let's see where it is on our list. Okay. Once again, another unit I can prove if it's going to be so high. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where's my Ranger? Holy moly. Daphne at 47%. Yikes. A lot of games played, though. 91. Yikes. Ranger at 45%. Wow. Wow, that is in the bottom echelon of my units. Interesting, interesting. Bottom echelon on my units. But still still really solid unit. Covers you 10, which can be a lot of pain for a lot of people, right? And it's decent on the 7-8 wave, right? Decent on the 7-8 wave, which I also think is a very important wave of the game. And finally, honestly, I really want to put it in D. I really do want to put it in D. For the mid game, it's a D unit. Slimes, right? These used to be good. You know what? I'm pissed. It's going in D. They just keep ruining units like this. When Slimes first came out, it was busted, man. It was an amazing arcane tank, right? It was pretty much equal to a Gargoyle, right? And then it came back to life, and the unit had to hit that thing again. Well, what did they do? They put a delay on it, just like Wander, just like Hydra. They really hurt those units, in my opinion, right? What does that mean? So, when it first came out, the units killed the slime, within a split second, a second, 2 seconds, whatever, a baby slime came out, and it would keep the units on that slime. What did they do? Well, they got rid of that, right? And they made it like 5 seconds, unless I'm talking out of my ass. I wonder if it says it in the exact thing. I am known to talk out of my ass. But yeah, when the unit dies, it leaves behind a baby slime, but it takes a long time for that damn slime to come out, which it used to be almost instantaneously. So what happens is, if you have one slime over there, let's say you have one slime and one cat, right? Cat on the left, slime on the right. Your slime is your delay, right? Your split delay is what I like to call it. Slime dies, all the units go to your cat, and then you have a DPS baby slime. You have a DPS baby slime. What am I supposed to do with that? Nothing, right? Where it used to would come back to life so fast that they'd start moving and then go back to that baby slime. So you'd get that split second of delay for your cat to keep cooking. But when they ruin the unit like that, right? And they make it bad, then it doesn't work as well, right? It doesn't work quite as well. And I'm not even getting started on the slime siren. Look at this. Look at this. 28% win rate with the slime siren. And I've only done it 7 times. Why do I not do slime siren? Well, let's look at the exact talk of the slime siren. Blah, blah, blah. It needs to gain, 16 mana. It has to gain 16 mana to spawn 3 slimes. Or if it does not gain 16 mana, it spawns 1 slime. The problem with this is that after wave 8 of the game, it is almost impossible to get up to 16 mana, right? Because it gains mana either by steeds or by killing things. Well, it's not going to kill 16 or 8 things wave 13, right? Like, it takes so long to generate the mana, right? And they're such a weak unit, you never spawn the 3 slimes. And that's why a lot of people get angry, right? I streamed yesterday or some period of days ago, and one of my teammates built like 3 slime sirens on 15, and then after the game, my chatters, kind of being a dick to be honest, were like, "Hey, did your slime sirens ever go off?" And kindly the person said no, they did not, right? So what you could have done is placed just 3 slimes and pretty much gotten more value than you did for building a slime and an upgraded slime siren. Right? It would have been better just to have the delay than just for it never to get to the 16 mana. Right? The mana cap is way too high, and idea. What if after wave 10 the mana required dropped? Right? Because I mean, genuinely, have you ever played with a slime siren? It is so bad in the late game. It is just, honestly, I really didn't want to go to sandbox here. Let's just find the slime larva. My larva is better, right? And the larva, I did give a bad rap. I did give a bad rap to the slime larva, and it is bad. Okay, but the slime siren is just so terrible. It's just so terrible, the slime siren. Like, I'm really getting distracted here. I know this is a tier unit game, or a tier unit list, not a sandbox thing. But I just want to show you guys something, right? I just want to show you guys something. How about something like this? This is wave 6. I either am holding really easily or leaking really easily based on the slime siren. See, right there, it is not going to get the full mana. The baby slime is an hour late, right? It's an hour late. I barely hold here, right? With a Zerker, you should always hold wave 6. But all I'm trying to say there is, how long did that slime take to come alive? It didn't hit the 16 stacks, and it's only wave 6, right? It's a 175 gold unit, and wave 6, it's kind of garbage, right? It already has sort of lost its luster without steeds, without anything. It just sucks, okay? Like, I'm really giving it to this unit, and so I apologize. I'm sorry, slimes, but you suck. The only benefit is that the slime siren is kind of a baddie, right? Kind of looks cool. But let's just take one more look at our list. I feel pretty comfortable with it. I feel pretty comfortable with my list of Aquas at S, Harpies at S. Right? It's a great open. It's a great fiesta overall game. Garg, just good solid arcane tank. Yes, I guess I thought about it. And Zeus's with all of those Magician, Steed, APS, Starcaller, it really does have a space in my heart. Cat, solid start unit. Daphne, amazing wave 10. Don't like, and I only highlighted on this for a second. I probably also would have had Kingpin at A, but they changed how the unit worked a couple of months ago, or like a year ago now. I don't even know my measure of time. Where it used to be like when it was fully stacked, it also did damage, but instead of doing damage, it really just tanks. So they gave it like double the health and half the damage. And so what can happen with this is you think you're amazing wave 10. Oh, I've got 1200 value in a Kingpin on wave 10. I'm holding. But the problem is, unless you have damage behind your Kingpin, you will not hold, right? Because it's just a tank. I'm serious. I'm serious. It really does not do as much damage as it should for its value. You got 2 tanks right there. And you got the crappy slimes. I'm sorry. I don't love the slimes. But I hope you guys enjoyed my tier list. These are tier 2s. I will drop a link in the description if you guys want to make your own tier list. And just let me know how close I was or how far I was from your own personal opinion of tier 2s. See you guys in the next tier list.